Welcome back to London Calling, the latest lowdown for every Broadway buff about what's happening on the other side of the pond. Later, we'll catch up with that too darn hot choreographer, 2019 Tony nominee Warren Carlyle. But first, let's take a quick look at which shows the Brits are getting into one of their infamous cues for. Broadway superstar Matthew Broderick is busy making his West End debut, would you believe, in a limited engagement of Kenneth Lonergan's The Starry Messenger. Broderick returns to the role of an astronomer who feels a closer connection to the infinite starry sky than to his job or his wife, having first played it off-Broadway back in 2009. Downton Abbey's Elizabeth McGovern is with him at the Wyndham's Theatre for this re-evaluation of life, faith and the universe itself. Meanwhile, Death of the Salesman, starring Meghan Markle's suits dad Wendell Pierce, is a hit at the Young Vic. Co-directed by Marianne Elliott and Miranda Cromwell, Arthur Miller's 1949 play has extended through July the 13th. Also going strong is Trevor Nunn's revival of Fiddler on the Roof at the Playhouse Theatre. Maria Friedman and Anita Dobson will shortly take over the roles of Golda and Yenta from Judy Kuhn and Louise Gold, respectively. Missing Game of Thrones, Gwendolyn Christie, aka Brienne of Tarth, is slated to take on the role of Titania in Shakespeare's A Midsummer's Night Dream. Helmed by Nicholas Heitner, the immersive production at the Bridge kicks off in early June. Oh, and we should flag that quite possibly the hardest ticket in town to get hold of this summer is Fleabag. The white-hot Phoebe Waller-Bridge is set to appear in her own play at the Wyndham's Theatre after Broderick departs. If you can't beg, borrow or steal a ticket for that one, there's always Amazon, which now has season 2 of the TV adaptation up. Thumbs up to Sierra Boggess, Ramin Karimloo, Beverly Knight and more will appear in a one-off performance commemorating and celebrating the life of Dame Gillian Lynne. The tribute to the Cats and Phantom choreographer will take place at the West End's Gillian Lynne Theatre on July the 2nd. Sierra told me exclusively, "No idea how I landed that one," quote, "Gilly Lynne was one of the most extraordinary, intelligent, brave and loving people I have ever worked with. The fact we get to have a night to honour her legacy will be both emotional and uplifting. She was a heartbeat of every show she did, and we will honour her beautiful heart on July the 2nd. Thumbs down to Claire Foy and Matt Smith. The stars are reuniting, but not on The Crown. Instead, they will headline a new production of Duncan Macmillan's Lungs, directed by Matthew Walkus. Following a couple trying for a child, the show is scheduled as part of the Old Vic's upcoming season, with more details to follow. A side note here, we'd happily take a stage adaptation of The Crown. Just putting it out there. Her Majesty's Theatre may be haunted by an opera ghost 8 shows a week, but there are multiple other theatres in the West End which also take apparitions very seriously. The Theatre Royal Drury Lane is haunted by several ghosts, particularly that of actor Charles Macklin, who is said to be tall, thin and ugly with a bad temper. Over at the Palace Theatre, home to Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, 2 seats are permanently bolted open for the theatre ghosts to sit in. Wonder what Peeves makes of that. And now we're off to Studio 54 to interview the Broadway Brit, Warren Carlyle. Warren Carlyle, I feel like you're the ultimate Broadway Brit. 14 Broadway credits. You started out your career as a dancer, so we need to talk about a certain show now. Which show were you in for quite some time?
My West End debut was Cats.
And who did you play in Cats, Mr. Carlyle?
It was Alonzo.
And he's the one that's like helps out Munkenstrap and fights McCavity.
That's right.
For some reason I got good knowledge on Cats. Yeah. I don't know how that happens. But that must have been extraordinary. Gillian Lynne, iconic choreographer, God rest her soul.
It was amazing. And Gillian was a big part of me being a choreographer too, because she was the first choreographer that took me under her wing and said, like, this is why I'm doing this and this is why that looks like that.
Yeah.
And she was the one. She was a great champion of mine. And she has seen every single Broadway show I've done except for Kiss Me Kate.
I want to cry.
God bless
God
her.
bless Gilly. I know that it's 2019 and we're talking about this new production of Oklahoma. But in 1998, there was a groundbreaking production of Oklahoma by Trevor Nunn, who directed Cats, where 2, I guess, the most important people in your professional career you crossed paths with, Susan Stroman and Hugh Jackman.
Right.
So let's talk about Stro first.
Amazing.
She changed your life.
She changed my life. I saw Crazy for You and I literally thought that's just what choreography should be. That's what it could be like. That's what Broadway is. I auditioned for her because she wouldn't hire me as her assistant. So I had to be in the show. So I was in Oklahoma for 5 months.
Right.
After 5 months, I became her assistant, and then my life changed forever. During those 5 months, I shared the stage with a certain Australian superstar called Hugh Jackman.
But he wasn't Hugh Jackman as we know him now. Let's make it clear. He was a star in Australia. He'd done Sunset Boulevard. That's where Trevor Nunn found him. He was in London, but this was before Hugh Jackman was Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, and Hugh actually auditioned for X-Men during a matinee of Oklahoma.
Did he?
He ran between shows and did his first screen test for X-Men.
And Hugh hasn't really changed. When you meet Hugh Jackman, he is adorable and kind.
He's the same. He's the same. He just wants to do a great job, and he's the best guy in the whole world.
Now let's talk about him being the best guy in the whole world, because you're working on his new show. What happened when you got nominated for a Tony in 2019, Warren Carlyle?
Oh, so Hugh is wonderful, and we were in an aircraft hangar in Wakefield, and Hugh turns and on his microphone stops the show and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, my director Warren Carlyle just got nominated for his 3rd Tony nomination." All the crew stopped, the video wall turned to this beautiful picture of a Tony. It was crazy. And then he said, "There's a car outside, I think you need to go to New York." And that's what happened, and I was a bucket of tears, and it took me a 3-hour car ride to gather myself. But that's how generous he is. That speaks to his generosity and his understanding of also how important Broadway is, you know, what a big part of his life it is.
Now let's talk about the nomination for this year, for Kiss Me Kate. Watching Kiss Me Kate, this is a 2019 version of Kiss Me Kate, but I think the choreography is absolutely crucial to how the show has been updated.
Yeah, I would agree. I think men and women operate in a different way. We're in a different social climate now too. And I have a responsibility to do that. I want to portray women in a certain way. You know, and if the men are smart, then guess what? The women are going to be smarter.
Yeah.
And that's really how I built the choreography. It's battle of the sexes and a really fun, equal battle. That's really how I approached it.
And Too Darn Hot, were you excited, a little bit nervous? Because I mean, that's an iconic number for any choreographer to get their teeth into.
It's funny, I didn't realize it was iconic until the show had opened.
And then you're reading the reviews.
And then people started to say like, wow, that iconic number of Too Darn Hot. And I was like, oh my God, thank God I didn't realize.
Do you think? So it was
I really didn't know. I didn't know. I knew it had to be good. But I think that about all of the musical numbers in the show. It's like they all got to be great. Bianca for Corbin's got to be great. And Tom, Dick and Harry's got to be like cheeky and sexy and funny and charactery. And Too Darn Hot was just like, no, I just got to make a big dance number.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until after that I suddenly, you know, had that moment of like, oh blimey, I'm glad it went well.
Now, talking of big dance numbers, Hugh Jackman's tour. What can we expect?
Oh, look out. Look out. He's doing crazy things. He's a crazy man. Each act is an hour, and he sings and he dances, and he's a maniac. He's so talented. You will truly see his range. You're going to see Les Mis. You're going to see Boy from Oz. You're going to see some beautiful things that he's brought from Australia, like things about his roots, things about his family that are just really lovely. So it's emotional as well.
And he's working really hard because he posted that photo on social media, this sort of t-shirt soaked through.
He's really going to give me a heart attack.
As long as he doesn't give himself a heart attack.
That's right.
Obviously, you're very important too, but...
No, he's the one. He's the one, but he works really hard and he actually loves, I think that's what makes him a great action hero too. He's very physical, he's very invested physically, he loves to train, and that's where we're a really good match because I like to work hard too. I like to rehearse a lot, and so does he.
Is there a show that you would like to open on Broadway?
Oh, Secret Garden.
Oh, really?
Secret Garden. It's such a beautiful story. It's a story about a beautiful little girl in search of a family. I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous story. Lucy Simon, Marcia Norman. It hasn't been revived since the original at St. James, and I think it's ready. I'm ready.
Let's manifest that one.
Make it happen.
Warren Carlyle, thank you so very much. As I say, the ultimate Brit on Broadway. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching London Calling. Cheerio.